Hi, Thomas. So yeah, when updating the library pages, if you recall, now I don't, you probably have been hopefully going into the Dreamweaver folder. So the library, Dreamweaver, and there are your library components or library assets as far as Dreamweaver is concerned. For example, the menu. We have a menu top. This is a typical thing you might update right here. Okay. Now, when you are, say, changing, linking this to a different page, for example, maybe we'll link that to that. We'll change the name. We'll just type a new name, Collins page, for example. When we save this, those changes would show up right here. Update library items. These are the pages that it's updating. We hit update. It should run through, take about maybe a second a page, so depending on the number of pages you have in your site. And that's all that has to be done. That's how you update everything across the board. Now, if anything is preventing that from happening, maybe there's a smidgen of code or something that got knocked out of place or whatnot, and there's a couple things you can do to fix it. But first of all, if you let me know what you're trying to update and what isn't updating, then I can take a look further. Now, support for the product has expired. I know you've been through a transcendency support thing, but maybe if you can just give me a quick bit of information on what library file. Maybe this is it. Maybe you haven't updated anything in a while, and you've sort of you've been trying to do it in the page itself, right? Well, what you do is you access the library, the Dreamweaver folder, and then the particular component you're trying to update right here. You can also go to your Windows and Assets tab, and all the assets are in here, but it's a little bit easier because there's wrappers and whatnot to actually access the library Dreamweaver folder directly. Okay, and to figure out what is what, well, basically what you can do is when you open up a page, anything that's a library asset is sort of shown in a yellow sort of a highlight, and you can kind of do an open library item if you hover over the correct element, like open library item. That opens up the but it doesn't always open up the right thing. So I'll always recommend you go in, and in the tutorials I'll say go into the library, the Dreamweaver folder, and update this directly. But the instructions are still in your members page, right? So if you go to the instructions, it'll actually show you what element and then what thing to update. But basically what I'm doing is just giving you a quick review in case you haven't been in to update anything in a while. Because it sounded like you said the region was locked. That means you're trying to edit it in the page directly. And anything that is showing up with sort of a yellow border around it, right? Like the website name or the menu bar up top or the social icons, anything like that where you click on it or you hover over it and it gives you the circle with the line through it, that's a library item. And that's where you can go to your tutorials and sort of say, what is it? Or you can get a bit of an idea by, open library item, but like I said, it doesn't always open the right page because sometimes we have things put within a wrapper. For example, let me see if I can find a good example of that. The footer left wrapper right there. In the actual code, right, it's loading in the footer left LBI page. So the wrapper is there to sort of is a design element to help protect things. But long story short, the best way is obviously to go into these here. They're all sort of named aptly, right? So in other words, it should make sense when you open the folders up, right? The logos, there's a logo there. There's the menus. There's only so many things that are library assets and so many things you would ever update on a regular basis. But let me know what it is you're trying to update, and I'll see if I can give you another quick video update.